If you are suffering from a mental illness and need somebody to talk to, please pick up the phone and dial 988 or call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255.
Well, hello and good day to all of you wonderful viewers out there. Hi, I'm Awesome Joe, and thank you guys so much for taking in the time of your day to watching another episode of Awesome Joe's Movie Reviews. And a big happy Thanksgiving to all of you people out there. I hope you guys are enjoying your meals with your wonderful families, enjoying the good football game. So this video is going to be very special. I know it's been a good while since I've done a video, but this one in particular, it's something that I had to do, and I know that I'm like a few days late, but it's really hitting hard to the heart here, because, you know, as you all well know, the 90s TV star that starred as the original Green and White Ranger and has been part of the Power Rangers series for many seasons and has done his return through several other episodes during special occasions, and he's really huge on Power Rangers, and not just on Power Rangers, but he has made a complete change in the entire world, encouraging especially children to achieve their dreams and achieve their goals. So. And it was just a sad and terrible experience having to know that this actor, this person, this man, Jason David Frank, JDF, has passed away since on Sunday, November 20th. Right now it's Thanksgiving Day, but long story short, I mean, before we get onto the movie review here in tribute to Jason David Frank's passing, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, I just want to go ahead and long story short it. It was a huge surprise. I couldn't believe that it had happened, and nowadays normally news such as this could be a good possibility that it's false. So I had to do some little investigation, and lo and behold, you know, I got so many newses posting to the fact that yes, Jason David Frank, Tommy Oliver, the Green and White Ranger, has passed away at the age of 49. And I couldn't believe it because he's still so young, and you know, it's been and I always remember him the way that he was when he first started. You know, that's the way he looked, and then I haven't seen him for many years after, and then having to see what he looked like modern day, I'm like, wow, this dude changed a lot. He's gotten older. He still looks great. He's gotten older. He's got more buffed. You know, he's got tattoos. You know, goatee, everything. I'm just like, I don't recognize him anymore. But yet, you still know it's Tommy Oliver. You know it's the Green Ranger. I know several people who have not really met him personally, but I remember that one of them individually told me that they catched a glimpse of him in one of the Comic-Cons. He goes to a lot of Comic-Cons. I took a glimpse of him standing on the table, video recording himself with everybody that was there, and you know, just having to. He told me that just having to seeing that, he didn't have to meet him, just having to seeing him just really inspired him, and it was just fantastic. And him even telling me the story, I'm just like, wow, that was amazing. And I never got the privilege of getting to meeting him. I would have loved to have met him, but I don't know. I've never met an actual celebrity before, but if I were to, I'm pretty sure I'd be one of those persons that if I met somebody, you know, a celebrity or a movie star or whatever, whatnot, I would legitimately freeze. You know, I'm not camera shy, obviously, as you can tell, but if I were to meet a celebrity, that's a whole other stage of you know, freezing while meeting this individual person, you know, because I grew up with this guy, man, and I'm not gonna lie either. I'm gonna admit, I cried. I literally cried. I played the theme song, and I several times, and immediately I started crying immediately. And in having to talk about our upcoming movie review for this in particular movie, I saw the movie and I was crying again. I couldn't get over it. I was like, oh my God. And then the idea popped in me. It's like, yeah, I got to do a review off of this. I got to talk about Jason David Frank, because this guy, man, I still remember him when he first became the Green Ranger. The 5 episodes of him being the evil Green Ranger, you know, they are epic and very memorable. I'll never forget them. I saw them on VHS. My mom bought me the VHSs. Each episode had its own cassette. That was cool. I remember when he became the White Ranger, you know, and it's just like, yeah, man, it's just, this guy, he really put a mark on my childhood and many people's childhoods. And it was a really huge, disappointing news to the entire world, to the entire fans, and even the cast, the other Power Rangers that he had worked with. You know, I've seen them on social media talking about how much they feel, how much they're concerned about us fans. You know, Amy Jo Johnson or David Yost, Walter Jones, Austin St. John, Jason Font, Aaron Cahill, you know, so many of them out there. They just, you know, they're very hurt by this tragic loss, because he is legitimately the face of the Power Rangers. He's the first one, not, you can't say the first, but, you know, one of the actual leaders of the Power Rangers. And it was just a huge traumatic loss, and we're gonna miss him very dearly. You know, once a Ranger, always a Ranger, and may the power protect him. And stay tuned at the ending of this movie review. So I have a little tribute video put together to, you know, in remembrance of him and his greatest achievements throughout his entire career, not just as a Power Ranger, but as a husband, as a father, as, you know, a great friend, as a great hero to the world. But yes, he will be dearly missed. And I really wish I would have gotten the opportunity to get into meeting him. And I'm pretty sure that now toys out there in reference to his character on the show it's going to be worth a lot of money. A lot of money. I never got the Dragon Dagger. I never got Saba. You know, I did have them when I was a kid. I had the Dragon Zord, the Tiger Zord, all of it, the action figures. I did have them when I was a kid, but dummy me, I had to open them. You know, any kid would open their toys and didn't think about, you know, 20, 30 years from now, they're going to be worth a lot of money. But yeah, I did have them. They broke into pieces, and Lord knows where they are now. But yes, he will be tragically missed. I can't really bear the idea of knowing that we're living in a world now without him in it. But he was a really awesome guy. I think the last time I saw him was in the 2017 Power Rangers movie, which of course not many people enjoyed it, didn't like it. I loved it. It was great, and getting to see him in there for a brief matter of seconds was fantastic. So getting to the movie here, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, it came out in 1995, directed by Brian Spicer, who did several projects on the 24 series and the X-Files. So you can actually see his type of work on those shows transferred onto this movie. And to be honest with you, a lot of people weren't very fond of the film. And I'm like thinking, how is that even possible? I even checked it on Rotten Tomatoes, stating they gave it a 32%. You got to be kidding me. You know, it's like as if these type of critics are not even familiar with the show. Because if you were to watch the show, and then when you were to go and see the movie has everything that the TV shows have. I mean, legitimately everything. It has a message. It has a story. It has your heroes. It has your villains. It has action. It has drama. It has, it just has a lot of stuff in there, a lot of fun things. And, you know, and this movie was for the kids. Everybody who was a Power Ranger fanatic back in the 90s, and even to this day, it has passed on to at least, I believe, 2 generations now. And it's a huge climactic franchise. And I mean, and having to know that a movie such as this, I think that it has really developed itself into being an all-time classic. In my perspective, I find it as an all-time classic. Because even having to watching it right now before I'm doing this review, I absolutely loved it. Every single time when something happened, which is legitimately every second of the film, it really captured me. It really captured my entertainment. I was clearly entertained. My eyes were legitimately glued to the screen, even though I've seen this movie so many times and know what's going to happen. I know everything by heart. That I still can never stop watching it. You get everybody from the show here. You get, of course, Jason David playing Tommy, who's the White Ranger in this. Amy Jo Johnson as Kimberly as the Pink Ranger. You got David Yost as Billy as the Blue Ranger. You got Steve Cardenas as Rocky as the Red Ranger. You got Johnny Young Bosch as Adam playing the Black Ranger. You got Karen Ashley playing Aisha as the Yellow Ranger. Everybody came back, including even Bulk and Skull, which is played by Paul Schreier and Jason Avery. The original, actually the voices of the characters, the Lord Zed and Rita from the show were there, but not in physical form. They were actually given to other actors. Goldar was there as well too. This pig-like kind of creature, it was supposed to be like a resemblance of Squat and Babu. Even though they weren't in the movie, but I find it as more as a combination of the two, creating this pig-like creature. Bottom, I think they called him. And then this kid character named Fred, played by Jamie Croft. Which, of course, when it comes to a Power Ranger project, there has to be a child involved into the story in order to develop it from a child's perspective. Of course, forwarding it over to the children's audiences of children watching the movie or TV show. Then you get the character Dulcia, played by Gabrielle Fitzpatrick. I believe that's how you say it. There was another, the actress from the Law and Order series. She was actually casted to do this, but for some odd reason, I forgot what the reason was, but she was recasted and given over to Gabrielle instead. And I don't know what was up with the outfit, though. It's like you're wearing a bikini in a children's movie. And for me, I'm just like, I think I was, how old was I? I believe I was like 10 years old. And just having to watching this, I'm like, I'm already, huh? I like this movie already. You got Zordon, you got Alpha, even though they got some different physical appearances. It was great getting to see it. Everything in this is more cinematic. It has no connections. It's not canon to the Power Ranger lore of the series. It is its own universe. It is its own movie. There is no tie-ins. There is no connections. Even though in the series there was a story similar to what the movie was. But it kept itself completely separate. It made it its own thing. It even allowed the audiences to be fully aware that this is its own thing and no connection onto the series. Even though that we have everybody from the series coming into this film project, it was still a great, awesome, cinematic, entertaining experience. I really found that the character Lord Zed, he looked great in the TV show, but in the movie I found him to be even more sinisteringly awesome. I loved the look of it. And talking about villains, we have the new character, the villain of the story of this movie, Ivan Ooze, played by Paul Freeman. Had no idea who Paul Freeman was. And back then there was no such thing as Google. There was no such thing as YouTube. There was no such thing of finding out, as to who, of their IMDb's. There's no easy way to find legitimate proof as to any tie-ins as to where these actors come from what work that they've done in the past. So once when Google started, once when YouTube started, and the curiosity continuously ran in my mind, I told myself, okay, this is the time to go ahead and and figure out who is this guy that I never really know who he was, because he was hiding underneath all that makeup and prosthetics. And now that I got to find out who he was, he's actually that, of course, everyone would know, the character on the Indiana Jones movie. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, well, now I see it. I get it now. So now that's all I see. I don't see him as, I do see him as Ivan Ooze, but I don't see him, like how I did when I was a kid growing up, having to watching this. So a funny story. When I found, like I said, there was no such thing as YouTube or Google back then. So when you found out when a movie is coming, you would find out by the previews before a movie would start either at home theaters, I meant in a movie theaters, or on video cassette at home. So my mom, she bought me the movie The Page Master. And I remember it was a Sunday a Sunday afternoon. We bought, fried chicken for lunch. And so we were just hanging out in the living room. I remember I was on the carpet floor. My brother and my mom were on the sofa watching along with me. We popped in the video cassette of the Pagemaster, and before the movie started, there was this, behind the scenes documentary of this movie. And right when it started, I'm like legitimately at awe. I turned around with complete excitement, but also complete frustration, because I turned to my mother with complete disrespect, and I apologize for this, but with complete disrespect, I turned over to my mom and I told my brother to, would you both shut up? Would you both shut up? They're making a movie out of this. Wow. And I was just watching everything. Like, I did not even blink my eyes. My eyes were open throughout the entire thing. I was like, Mom, we gotta go watch that. Just even talking about it just puts pure excitement into me. And, of course there's gonna be action figures of the Rangers and the Zords and the villains. And, it's like, I was just so excited. And I remember that my mom did buy us the Power Ranger action figures for Christmas one year. I believe that same year. And, those boxes were never open. They were never open, and I know that they're hiding somewhere in my mom's house. I just don't know where. But it's awesome having, because my mom had the idea of don't open the box, because if you open the box, then it's not really worth it anymore. It's just a toy. But now it's a collector's item, and it's worth a lot of money, especially now. But yeah, I remember that story when I found out when they were making this movie, the excitement that you can imagine of it, having to know that it's happening. So yeah, they did it, and I watched it in theaters, and it was great. I had a great time. I love the marketing to it, and having to watch the movie. I know this is a movie before its time. You got to understand, this is back in 95. CGI was not perfect. It's still not perfect to this day. Yeah, we got Avatar coming out very soon, and it looks fantastically real and all that stuff, but not to the very fullest. But remember, 95, okay? The Zords. I understand, the Zords look terrible. But when having to being a kid, even knowing that they looked terrible and that they were just CGI, it was still fun to watch. Very fun to watch. I loved it. And then the suits, the costumes, even though I know this for a fact, even though they looked so awesome, I know I've watched the behind the scenes documentaries of the actors complaining about how much they looked cool, but they were completely uncomfortable. They were difficult to put on and difficult to take off. But yet they looked so powerful. It wasn't going to be just spandex, how they usually wear in the TV show. This suit legitimately looked like armor. I loved the look, and I was really looking forward to seeing that if it were to ever transfer itself over onto the series, which of course it never did happen. They had this metallic form that they were just really sparkly, glitterish, but that was about it. But yeah. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, for me, I found was a very fun, exciting, entertaining time. I love the mid-credits scene. And this is a tradition. When the evil bad guy of the story does a lot of evil doing, once when he gets killed off, everything that he has done fades off, and we're all back to normal. Okay, so I love the mid-credit scene. As soon as the credits start to roll, and then we come to the scene, you see Goldar and that pig creature, whatever it is, they're just, having their own little fun, and then in comes Rita and Zed, and they're just like, oh man, we're toast. It's like that was fun. I love that. That was so great. Every time I see that, I was like, oh, it's sad to say that, yeah, this is the last that we'll ever get to see this version of the Power Rangers. I did enjoy Turbo. I did enjoy Turbo back in 97, but I loved this movie even more. And like I said, I enjoyed 2017's Power Rangers. That's actually one of my favorite movies of all time. Sad to say that they never really did a sequel. I mean, I think you should have, but oh well. But within this movie itself alone, I just completely loved it and enjoyed it. But critically speaking, okay, within my child self, within my fan mode, I'd have to give it 100%. Okay, but not as a critic. Critically speaking, okay, this is where we are. Yes, I'd understand why they'd give it a 32%. But critically speaking, it's not that low either. Nor is it that high. I'm going to go ahead and give it a good 87%. Okay? 87%. Yes, that's how good I found the film. But yes, great movie. And that would be my review for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. What did you guys think? This movie came out back in '95. Obviously, you guys have seen this. And I'm surprised I've done a movie review without having to spoiling much of it. But, this movie is already good, almost 27, 28, 29 years old. And apparently, I'm sure everybody that's watching this review has already seen the movie. But if you have watched it, what did you guys think? If you have any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns, please feel free to leave it down in the comment section at the bottom. And let's have an awesome time talking about this movie or any movies that you like to talk about in general, because I love to talk about movies, but most importantly, I love to talk about them with you. And don't forget that you can check out some more of my videos on Facebook and on YouTube. Just look me up at Awesome Joe Movie Reviews. Don't forget to click on that like and subscribe button there, you guys. I really do appreciate everybody's support on my channel. And it's just a fun, fantastic thrill ride, and I'm glad that everyone is here to join me along with it. But like I said, stay tuned right now that I'm going to go ahead and play this little tribute video for Jason David Frank's passing. Like I said, it was just a huge, tremendous loss, and prayers go out to the family and the friends and all the other fans out there that have followed him throughout the many years that ever since he has debuted as the Green Ranger on the series back in '93. So my hearts go out to everybody out there who is tragically hurt by this loss. And I hope that everybody is there for me too, because it really took a huge hit at me, and I did not like the fact that it happened. And I just want to point this out as well too, that the way that he was lost through suicide. I just want to point this out because, and I don't like to get too personal, but I just want to forward this over to everybody because I know that many people have their own personal issues. Okay. And I've had my own personal issues, obviously, and I have suffered through mental illness. I have gone through the experiences of wanting to committing suicide. But I just want to encourage everyone out there that if anyone is suffering through mental illness, who has the slightest thought of suicide, I just want to let everyone out there know and encourage you. It's not at all a good idea. It's not. Not that I'm saying that Jason David Frank was a fool for doing what he did. No. He wasn't fully there. We don't know who or what he was going through with behind closed doors, within his personal time in his life, even though that he portrayed himself out into the world as this great heroic figure, which of course he was. Behind closed doors, everybody is always suffering through something, and the easiest solution is never the only solution. There are so many, and I'm guaranteeing it to you, the grass is not greener on the other side if you do commit suicide. All right, I'm letting everybody know this. I'm a spiritual man. I go to church. I know a lot about God, and I'm letting everybody out there know that if you have a mental illness and you're suffering with the thoughts of suicide, talk to somebody. Do not isolate yourself from the world. Do not keep yourself not talking to anybody. Speak to somebody. It doesn't matter who it is. Talk to somebody. I have the information at the beginning, at the ending of this video to let you know who to speak to professionally in order to help you during those mental situations. So I'm letting everybody know right now, suicide is not the solution. And my heart does go out to all the ones who have suffered through it and have done it. Remember, they're not fool-minded. They're just lost, and they needed the help when no one was around. Based off of my perspective, based off of my experiences, it's best to go out there and get help and not isolate yourself, keeping you from the world and allowing those negative thoughts to take a hold of you. It's not the best idea. It's never the best idea. There's always a way out. There's always a brighter light at the end of that tunnel. You just have to continuously push yourself and encourage yourself and to climb that mountain to reassure yourself that there is a meaning to your existence, that life is important. Death can wait. God knows when death is ready for you. But if you're still alive and breathing and healthy and living your life to the very fullest, continue on doing that until God says so otherwise. Regardless if your life is great or not, it doesn't matter. Keep living the life. Keep living the dream. So, that's my message to all of you guys. This was supposed to be a movie review and ended up being more of a spiritual message. So, but anyways, everybody, I'm Awesome Joe. Thank you guys so much once more again. Keep on living the dream. And as always, stay awesome. Thanks you guys once more again. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, and happy Thanksgiving.
If you are suffering from a mental illness and need somebody to talk to, please pick up the phone and dial 988 or call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255.